Hi everyone, and welcome to an episode of Boss VG Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm reviewing Sin and Punishment, Star Successor for the Wii, the second installment in this 3D bullet hell series of games. For those of you not familiar with the bullet hell genre, you generally control a ship or person of some sort, and enemies rain down storms of bullets on the screen, which usually have very narrow gaps, if any, to escape through. They're much more popular in Japan than they are over here in America, but there are still a few that cross over to our shores from time to time, such as Contra and Metal Slug. The original game was released for the Nintendo 64, and it featured very similar gameplay. Remember I said that most bullet hell games don't make it to America? Well, this is one of them, which was odd because most of the voice work was done in English, with Japanese menus and subtitles. In 2007, though, it was ported over to the Wii through the Virtual Console feature. This game plays a little similarly to how many arcade shooters play. You're on a rail for the majority of the game, and you aim and shoot, with a charge shot available on a cooldown that is displayed around your targeting reticule. You also have a dodge button, and the ability to lock on enemies. However, if you lock on to enemies versus manually aiming, you do less damage to the enemies. Also, with so many enemies on screen at a time, you will also usually take damage. You also have a melee attack with a sword that does quite a bit of damage, and that it also can reflect rockets and other projectiles back at the enemies, which is key to defeating some of the bosses. I have to say though, this is one of the best looking games for the Wii to date. Of course, that's not saying too much, but it's fully 3D rendered, and the frame rate stays pretty constant, which is definitely a plus. Game mechanics also work pretty well too, and I was actually honestly expecting the Wiimote to kind of get in the way of this, but it actually is pretty accurate even without the Wii Motion Plus. So this game starts pretty easy and gets a little harder during each level, with a few exceptions. The levels themselves tend not to be too challenging, but the game ramps up its difficulty pretty far when it comes to boss battles. Once you figure out the general attack pattern that the boss is going for, it becomes a lot easier, but still there's going to be a lot of focus on dodging and also shooting projectiles back at the boss, which is pretty tough at times.
Okay then, where are we?
As for the story, the game doesn't explain too much. It almost assumes that you read the manual that came with the game. But you know what, in this type of game, you're just along for the ride. It does a good job of being very vague and not letting the story get in the way of the gameplay. Speaking of, there's fully voiced cutscenes, something which Wii games generally lack. It's not the best voice acting.
Positive! Why would enemies hang out in a water tunnel?
Peel away that mask and reveal your true nature, monster.
But it's still better than moving lips and text. The music is actually pretty excellent. It's a great mix of techno and trance, and there is a difference there. And it sets a very sci-fi mood to the game, which is, of course, great when you do have a sci-fi game that you're playing. One of the big things that I would change about this game is I would make the missile reflecting a little more intuitive, and the targeting for that as well a little more intuitive. It's a little hard to lock onto an object, slash your sword to reflect it, and then unlock the move to the next target. And all when you have a barrage of different projectiles, as you can see here on the screen coming at you, that you have to kind of deal with. Also, I'd love to see a high-def port of this to the PlayStation 3 once the move comes out, but I have a feeling that, even though it was dispelled by Treasure, Nintendo has some contract somewhere which will keep this as a Wii exclusive. Bottom line, if you own a Wii and are feeling the summer drought of games, pick this game up. It'll tide you over till Crackdown 2 comes out for the 360. Thanks again for joining me today for my review, and I'll catch you next time. Again, this has been George with Boss VG, and you can visit us at our website at bossvg.com.